Hi, good morning. Renee Keys here with Carolina Creative, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And this morning I want to play with making another fun fold. This will be what I call a triangle fold. I'll show you how I cut and get the card in the shape that I want. And I'm again going to use this Circle Sayings, both the stamp set and the punch that comes with it. I've already punched out my circle. I have pulled out, to get started here, some copper clay, my cardstock. I've got my ink. This was one of the 2023-25 in colors. I also have a piece of the 2023-25 Designer Series paper. I've already trimmed this down to 5¼ by 4, which is kind of the standard size, and I've got an insert for my card. I did look at my circle dies and go ahead and punch out a larger circle, so you can see how I'm going to mat, one over the other. This will make it just a little bit stronger when you see how this card opens. So let me flip the camera and show you what I'm doing here, because the cutting is a little bit tricky. As I mentioned, I am starting with this full sheet, 8½ by 11. I'm going to get the ink out of the way. Oh, and my information is here. I'm trying something different. Since it's April, here's my new host code for the month, and there's some information about where to reach me. I'm going to leave that there. So on my cutter, what I need to do is cut it on a diagonal. And this just barely fits. I'll show you how I kind of have to set it up a little bit higher over the ridges here, but I'm going to line up those points in the cutting track. And then I'm going to take a look at it. Now you'll see, because I should pop this off. That will make my life a lot easier. Instead of using the scoring tool, because it will be, I can't pop it off. It does pop right off, but this morning it's not wanting to cooperate. That's fine. So I'm lining this up, but you can tell I won't be able to cut all the way, and that's what I have my snips for. So I'm going point to point, diagonally across the cardstock as far as I can go. I'm going to send it back. And now I know I am going to have to use my snips on there, but I should be able to very clearly see, see the line, and just simply finish cutting. It didn't quite cut all the way through. Yep, that's all I'm doing, is just basically releasing it. There we go. So I now have two pieces, and even the upper end didn't quite go all the way through. It's real close, but it's a difficult cut. If you have a large paper cutter, with the arm, that works great. I just wanted to be able to sit here and show you how this works. So now, to make the triangle card, I need to score this. And the card will still end up a standard size 5½ by 4¼ So on one side, I'm going to score at 5½, and I'm measuring right along the line here. Let me score that. And then I'm going to go, I have to think about this, at 4¼ this way. Yep, and I can already see that that is my normal. I'll show you where my score lines are going to be. That is my normal card shape right here. So I've got the 5½. I'm now going 4¼ this way. And this will now fold. I'm just double checking this. Yep, I want it to go this way and this way. So now I'm simply going to burnish these edges so I have a nice crisp edge. This card, you could go this way, right, and open. It can go more vertical and go this way and open, but you have two ways to open this. And I think, as you're going to see, because one of the papers I'm going to use goes this direction, I want it to open that way. So I now need to cut this on an angle as well. Right. So let me pop this in, again, going point to point. Maybe if I put it in the middle, it'll be easier to see. No, here, I think it's all in the camera. So this goes point to point, cut that. There we go. I should be done cutting. I'm going to slide that out of the way. So what I'm going to do, I need to decide which way I want this to go. And I'm thinking I want it to go, and I was afraid of that. I thought I could just flip this. So I'm going to need a second piece because I wanted to contrast my paper. And I should have realized that, of course, it doesn't just flip. It's not a mirror image. So that's fine. What I need to do is grab another sheet to do what I have in mind. Here we go. Again, here's on my DSP from this series, 2023-2025. Let me cut one more piece to the size that I want, but now that I'm looking at the paper, I want to make sure I got this up so it's going the proper direction. So I want this to be 4 across, yeah, and 5 down. So let me think about this. Yep, 4 across is right. Cut that. And then 5 1/4. And now I'm going to do the same thing I just did with the other piece and cut this on an angle as well. So what you see is by the time I'm done cutting, I'm going to have enough to make 2 cards. I will have the other half of the cardstock, and then 2 more pieces of this paper. So my plan was to use 2 different papers. Here we go. I wanted a lighter one on top, a darker on the bottom. That was my vision. And then I'm going to put my circles in there. Okay. And I was wondering, this does fit pretty good. This leaves a small edge, a small frame with the cardstock. So I think what I'm going to do is just trim a smidge more off of this so that it will show. I could have cut this slightly smaller, maybe going 5 by 3 3/4 instead of my standard size, and that would have given me just a little more. Oh, that was very small. That's okay. A little more of the cardstock showing through. This will help give me a little bit more. I could have taken more off, but just for simplicity's sake, you can see how simple it was to cut that if you decide you want to change. So I think I'm going to go ahead and glue these just so I don't have these loose pieces. And I am going to use my Stampin' Seal. I want this to adhere well. I'm going to make sure I've got the right side up, and then we'll do some stamping. And then you'll see how quickly this comes together. It's a, I don't want to say it's a showstopper, but people will take a second look at this because of the unique size and shape. It's fun to open. It's just different. Okay, and along these edges. There we go. Now, I'll put this down, center it up so I have a frame on all sides. Yeah, so that when you open that, you can see a little bit of that pretty copper clay shows through. I've got a fuzz there. Okay, so let's stamp. I've got my circle, I've got a background, I have got the inside of my card, and you can see how this will fit right in here, just like that. I mean, I still could flip this if I wanted to change my mind. You see how easy this is to put different directions. I'm not going to glue that insert in yet. I'm going to wait. So let's start stamping. I have pulled out the big circle that says Celebrate. I want this to be a celebratory card, so let's ink this up and center it as best I can on here. There we go. And yes, I have my Stampin' Scrub over here to take the ink off of my stamps. And then what I'm going to do is I chose the cupcake. That should show through now. The cute little cupcake. I'm going to center this. I mean, you could center this under one of the dots. I'm going to center it under the word celebrate and put it on here just like that. And now while there's still some wet ink, I'm going to take my Wink, oh, that's a water painter, and that is not what I want. I'm going to take my Wink of Stella and make this frosting kind of sparkly and just drag a little bit of the ink. And if it's not enough, I can always add a little bit here from my stamp pad. I'm just going to grab just a tiny touch. Here we go. And yeah, a little bit more than I needed right there, but you get the idea. I'm just going to give this frosting a little shimmer, a little color. Get the edges here so it looks kind of swirly. And then I just cleaned my brush here, and I'm just going to put a little sparkle on the cupcake holder. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to make it say celebrate on the front. I'm going to now adhere this onto my other circle. I could pop this off if I chose to do it that way. There we go. Plain and simple. And now, depending how you want the card to open, I'm thinking most people are going to open it this way. So I'm going to adhere it to this side. You could easily, I mean, it could open down, whatever you think is best. But just make sure that you only put your adhesive on one side or you will seal the card shut. So to complete this, I'm going to put my fingers on, I'm right-handed. I'll put my fingers on this side. All right. And then just put the adhesive on the other side. This is just so I don't accidentally put it in the wrong place. Okay. And now you get top, bottom, I'm just going to kind of center it as best I can. And before I stick it down, yes, I want to make sure that there's none shining through on the back. Okay. And I think right now I might ultimately put the word congratulations inside here, because then it can be any occasion. You can say celebrate, happy birthday, any other event that you want, but this just becomes a very nice kind of a happy card, happy mail, if you will, to say celebrate, thinking of you, happy anniversary. It could be anything. There you go. A triple fold, a triangle fold, very simple. I did this in 10 minutes with just a little bit of prep. Obviously, I did some of the pre-cutting, but you saw most of it because I even made a mistake with my paper, and that's what happens when we're crafting. So thanks for tuning in today. Stay tuned for the next video.